don't need it, but I know what you mean. All right, let's get into it. All right. So why do you keep repeating the same lessons? All right. Understanding without deciding, and then insight in not transformation, right? Or insight is not transformation. I read that. I was like, hold up. Insight, if not. Insight is not transformation. We're going to talk about the difference between trying to study a situation. And why I'm going to talk about this is we talked about this on an earlier live. We started talking about loops and how situations show up in your life. And these situations are inherently meaningless. But then we start to grab them and attach meaning to them and say, because this is showing up, this must mean that I did something, that I am this way. And then we start to analyze it, when really it's just giving you an opportunity to make a decision. So we're going to talk about how everything is going to present you this beautiful decision. Let's get into it, okay? Many people mistake awareness for completion. They can explain their patterns. They can name their wounds. They can articulate the lesson with clarity and emotional intelligence. Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. And yet the same situations return. The same relationships. The same reactions. The same internal conversations. The same circumstances. It seems like, it's like I'm in a time loop, right? I'm walking through life. I might get a new relationship, but it seems like it's just the same person in different skin. Relationships fall apart the same way. You get a little bit of money, I lose it in the same way. I always seem to be a little bit behind. Why am I in this loop? This person keeps giving me hot and cold. They show up, they disappear. What am I doing wrong? Why am I in the loop? Don't worry. Now we're going to break that shit down. All right, here we go. It's often not because the lesson was missed, but because it was never decided. What does that mean? The lesson's not missed. The lesson, as soon as you are aware of, oh, I don't want this, the lesson is learned. The lesson right there is learned. Okay, I'm aware of it. I don't want it anymore. Boom, you've learned the lesson. You don't want it. Okay, cool. Now what? You get to decide what you actually do want. So here we go. James 1:8, and we've been talking about this over and over again, right? A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Now we're going to build up into this discussion. We're going to form a foundation. And then we are going to dive into some more deeper concepts. All right. So number one, James 1:8, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. Straightforward. Fairly straightforward. All right. So double-minded here doesn't mean lacking intelligence or insight. None of you lack intelligence. None of you lack insight. None of you. Let me say that one more time. None of you lack intelligence. None of you lack insight into what you want. You know enough. You know enough. Or do you know the situation that you don't want? Then you know enough to decide what you do want, right? Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So what does double-minded mean in this situation? It means divided allegiance. Allegiance. One part of the self sees the truth. The other keeps an exit plan. One moment there's clarity. I know what I want. The next, there is renegotiation. Well, I must be doing something wrong, right? I've decided I am love. I am prosperity. The dopamine hits. It worked. 3 days later, the situation doesn't look right. And all of a sudden, what am I doing wrong? I must be doing something wrong. It's a familiar pattern. It's a familiar pattern. I speak on it because I've been in that pattern. It is familiar. How do we break out of this? How do we break out of this? We're going to talk about that, all right? So one part of the self sees the truth and the other keeps an exit plan. One moment there's clarity, the next there's renegotiation. Instability is not caused by confusion. It is caused by refusal to decide. It's a tough pill to swallow, right? Is that sometimes we mask our inability to decide or our refusal to decide with confusion. We'll go as far as to say, how do I decide? How do I choose? As if you don't choose in every moment. You choose to hit snooze on that alarm clock. You snooze or you choose to cut that toothbrushing session a little bit short. Right? You choose to pick up the phone and dial that person up. You choose the clothes you wear. You choose the route you're going to drive to work. You choose whether you're going to stop. You're already late. You might as well stop and get a little bit of breakfast, a little bit of McDonald's. You choose that. You choose when you see the phone ring. You choose to answer it or hit decline. All day you are making choices. You choose, you choose, you choose, you choose. And then somehow, some way, when it comes to choosing that identity, we act brain dead. We just, choice, what's that? How do I choose? The same way that you choose everything else. Okay? The same way that you choose everything else. So here we go. When identity remains conditional, you know what that means, conditional. I know that y'all know what that means. I know you've been dropped in your head, but I know you know what conditional means. What does conditional mean? Matter of fact, let's Google it together. We're going to Google it together. I don't want to hear any excuses. Okay? All right, Alex, I didn't know what conditional means, so I have to ask this question about my SP. All right, conditional means subject to one or more conditions. I hate when the word is in the definition. All right, subject to one or more conditions or requirements being met. Meaning, if it's conditional, it means there are requirements to getting it. The requirement is that this in this circumstance has to be met. Let's give a practical example when it comes to manifestation. All right. Let's say that you decide I am prosperity. What would be making it conditional? Well, it's conditional if I have to feel a certain way, then I'm prosperity. If the bank account looks a certain way, then I'm prosperity. It's conditional. The requirements have to be met. But God is unconditional, fortunately. Absolutely unconditional, fortunately. So when we make the decision, what a true decision as source is unconditional. This is who I am no matter what. This is who I am no matter what. What's the paradox? Is that when you decide it unconditionally, it shows up for you. It shows up for you. It's absolutely beautiful, a beautiful paradox, right? So when identity remains conditional, reality cannot organize around it. If that's a little triggering, that's cool. We're going to walk through this together. If that's conditional, that's fine. That's perfect. It's an invitation into accountability. That's all it is. A little knock on the door. Accountability's here. Answer the door. Answer the door the same way that you answer the call for your SP. Answer the door for accountability. All right. So when identity remains conditional, reality cannot organize around it. The mind keeps oscillating between knowing and bargaining, awareness and avoidance. This is why the same lessons repeat. Life mirrors indecision. Life mirrors indecision with inconsistency, because reality is just your mirror. So if I'm walking around being indecisive, what does reality give me? Indecision. Confusion is a choice. To walk around and say, yeah, okay, I am this, but what about the doubt? But what about this? But what about that? Conditional, right? So if I'm making what I desire to be, let me say this very, very clearly. Let me say this very, very clearly. If I'm making who I desire to be conditional, then of course there is going to be indecision, because now I'm going to be pulled into the ego mind. Let me back up and say this a little bit more clearly. If I'm making it conditional, you are, practical example, you are prosperity, you are love, you are wealth, you are abundance, simply because you are breathing oxygen right now, because you are alive. Your being, your existence itself is proof of your absolute and otherworthiness. It is unconditional. You are it before you have money. You are it without the SP. You are it without anything. By yourself, standing right here, you are everything unconditionally. Now, when you start putting conditions on it, you say, well, I'm love if I feel like love. I'm love if that SP comes in. Now, what do? You invite the ego to the party. Because what does the ego do? The ego loves to swing between what? Doubt and belief. Anxiety and calm. The ego loves to swing on the pendulum, give you a nice human experience. He says, we believe. I don't feel good today. Let's doubt a little bit, right? So now, if I'm making it conditional, I have to feel. If I am prosperity, then I must feel prosperity, whatever that means. If I make it conditional, now I bring the ego into the party. And now all of a sudden, if I don't feel it, I'm going to say I'm not it. This is where we miss the mark. This is where we miss the mark. Because now, instead of me deciding as I am, as source, what I am unconditionally, I'm giving everybody else a seat at the table. I'm letting my emotions have a seat. You have a vote. If I feel good, you vote yes. If I feel bad, you vote no. I'm putting the circumstances in. If the circumstances say I'm prosperity, then I am. If it says I'm not, then I'm not. Do you see where the issue is with this? When I make it conditional, then we make this conditional. And then we go into the character, right? We go into the ego. And Alex is just having a fun time. Alex is just walking around this reality and experiencing things. And some things make Alex feel sad. Some things make Alex feel happy. And if I'm thinking that the ego, Alex is the one creating, I'm constantly going to be swinging back and forth. And I'm going to struggle. And I'm going to say, man, this is exhausting. This reality creation is exhausting. Now, how do we bypass the belief and the doubt? How do we bypass it? Let me ask you a question. Right now, if I told you that, well, the truth is that the earth is a square. If I tell you that the truth is the earth is a square, if you believe it, does it make it more of the truth? No. If you doubt it, does that make it less of the truth? No. The truth just is, right? The truth stands alone. The truth stands alone. Okay, cool. Well, what if I have trauma with squares? Does my past trauma with squares impact the earth being a square? Now, no. What if I research about squares? And I try to prove this wrong. I come up with a theory, a hypothesis per se, of how the earth can't be a square. It must be a triangle. No, it doesn't change the truth. So what do? How do we get beyond the belief and the doubt? Well, we just simply accept what we desire to be as the truth. I am prosperity. It's the truth because I'm God, right? It's not something that I intellectually need to comprehend. I simply accept it. I simply accept it. When I said that, I know a lot of y'all got confused. You guys damn near had a heart attack. It's accepted, huh? You choose, right? You choose what your truth is. How do you choose what the truth is? The same way that you wake up and you choose to hit the snooze button on the alarm. The same way that you wake up and you choose to look in your closet and say, I want to wear black today instead of blue. Or this or that. I want to eat this for breakfast. The same way that you choose, you decouple, you detangle yourself from the worldly programming that says truth has to be proven. And you say, well, no, truth is a choice. And I unconditionally choose that I am prosperity. And I just am prosperity no matter how I feel about it, no matter what the situation looks like. No matter if I believe or doubt it, none of that impacts the truth. And then I rest in I am. I rest in that truth. And I can remind myself if needed, or I cannot. Either way, it does not impact the truth. Okay? Here we go. So life mirrors indecision with inconsistency. We're going to context switch back to the original topic here. All right. So I'm gonna go back one sentence so we can finish this thought. All right. When identity remains conditional, reality cannot organize around it. The mind keeps oscillating between knowing and bargaining, awareness and avoidance. This is why the same lessons repeat. Life mirrors indecision with inconsistency. The verse reveals a simple law, right? A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways, right? James 1:8. The verse reveals a simple law. Stability emerges when truth becomes final. Stability in reality emerges when truth I am the truth, right? This is what Jesus meant when he said, I am the truth. When truth becomes final, stability emerges. The moment you stop entertaining alternatives to who you are, movement becomes coherent and the need for repetition disappears. Beautiful. Double-minded does not mean unintelligent or confused. It means undecided. One foot in habit, one moment of insight followed by a return to negotiation. Instability isn't caused by lack of awareness, it's caused by lack of finality. This is my decision and it's final. I am prosperity, that's final, that's it. Beautiful. Next part, right? So why life repeats itself? Let's get a little bit further. Why life repeats itself? Life does not repeat lessons to punish you. It repeats them to ask a clearer question. I like this way of looking at it. I like this way of looking at it. Remember, all of these things are tools. They're tools. They're tools. They're tools. Is that not just an affirmation? Is what just an affirmation? Is what not just an affirmation? Okay. Life does not repeat lessons to punish you. It repeats them to ask a clearer question. Have you decided or have you only understood? Have you decided or have you only understood? Have you decided who you are or just simply trying to understand what's going on out there? Two completely different questions, two completely different answers, okay? So the mystics were clear on this point. Understanding belongs to the mind. Decision belongs to being. As long as truth is something you agree with instead of something you stand as, reality has no reason to reorganize. Reality responds to position. Reality responds to position. All right, now let's go into a little bit more scripture. Luke 6:46. Luke 6:46. Okay. Why do you call me Lord and do not do what I say? Why do you call me Lord but do not do what I say? This question exposes what? The gap between acknowledgement and alignment. The gap between acknowledgement and alignment. To call someone Lord. Now let's metaphysically, right? Jesus represents you. Represents you. Okay? So why do you call me Lord and not do what I say? Let's break this down metaphysically, all right? So to call someone Lord means what? What does it mean? It is to claim recognition of authority, right? But authority that is not obeyed is only symbolic. Let's think about that. Lord represents authority, but authority that is not obeyed, it's just a symbol. Okay, it has no real meaning in my life, all right? So the verse reveals why understanding alone does not transform life. Affirming it. Just affirming for the pleasure, for the sake of affirmations, right? That goes to the question earlier. It was like, is this just affirming? I was hoping I got a different answer so I could go into that a little bit more. But no, this isn't just an affirmation. It's not at all. It's a declaration. It's a decree of who I am, right? Really, an affirmation should be. So it's not an affirmation in the modern sense, because an affirmation should just be an anchor for state of being. But now when we hear affirmations, we hear of things that we want to be, things that we hope will happen. I am prosperity. We say, I am prosperity. And we just hope that one day in the future, it will magically show up, right? We start treating God like a magic trick. This is not an affirmation. This is a decree. This is saying right now is the only moment. And this is the identity that I choose to experience life as God. This is a decree. Okay. So this reveals why understanding alone does not transform life. You can admire truth. Okay? You can admire truth, study it, even speak it fluently, while still living from a different center. Here's the question I will ask. Okay, here's the question that I'll ask. Saying I am prosperity without accepting it as your truth means what? It's no different. You just yelling out affirmations, I am prosperity, without accepting this as truth. The truth of who you are is no different than somebody in a church pew yelling out prayers and hoping that something outside of them will hear it and bring them prosperity. It's the same thing. An embodied prayer is simply a begging. It's a plea or a prayer or an affirmation without the embodiment underneath it. Without the identity underneath it, it's simply a hopeful begging wish. You might as well write a note and put it in a bottle and throw it out in the sea. It means nothing. It means nothing. This is why affirmations can be hot or cold. It requires the embodiment, the knowing that I am source is the core. Because I am source, of course I'm prosperity. Boom. It's just the truth. What does it's just the truth mean? It just means this is just who I am. Point blank, period. This is just who I am. Okay? So there's nothing wrong with affirmations. But when they're done empty, this is what scripture calls vain repetition. Vain repetition. Vain repetition is a prayer without embodiment, is an affirmation without embodiment. Okay? Cool. So it shouldn't be with prayers, because according to scripture, prayers ask, right? When you ask, believe that you have received it. Whatsoever you ask the Father in my name. Remember, let's talk about this, okay? So there's a scripture that says, whatsoever you ask the Father in my name will be given to you. What is the Father? This verse is telling you how to pray. The Father is all that there is. Okay? It's all that there is. Now, in my name, whatsoever you ask the Father, whatever you ask God, or you ask whatever, in my name. Remember, in my name. This was Jesus speaking. Now, when he's saying in my name, he's not saying in the name of Jesus. He's saying within my name. You are the representation of Jesus. I am, right? The first manifestation of God. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God. The Word was with God. The Word is I am. It's I am. So when we say, whatsoever you ask the Father in my name being I am, it's saying whatever I declare myself to be, whatever I accept as the truth. Now, we have to go a little bit further. So I am prosperity is what? It's me asking the Father in my name, within the name of Christ. I am prosperity. Now I accept that as truth. What's the next part of that? It says, hitherto you've asked for nothing. Until now, you have asked for nothing. What does that mean? Because you might say, yeah, I've been asking for 6 months, 3 months, 2 years, whatever the case may be, right? What does this mean? Till now, you've asked for nothing. It means it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you asked for 5 seconds ago, 5 days ago, 5 minutes ago. Who do you say you are right now? Who do you say you are right now? Until now, you've asked for nothing. Until this moment, nothing matters. This is what it's saying. And then one of the hidden or the removed text said, ask without hidden motive. Meaning I'm not asking for fulfillment. I'm knowing I'm already fulfilled. So I'm simply asking for the experience. I'm it whether I receive it or not, but I'm asking for the experience. Right? I'm doing it purely from fulfillment. And it must be given to you. This is what that means. No feelings required. No repetitive vain affirmations required. Simply a knowing of who you are right now in this moment. I am prosperity. It's the truth. Okay? Beautiful, 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 beautiful. All right, next part. Okay, next part. Awareness without commitment creates loops. Awareness can be comforting. It gives language to pain. It makes suffering feel meaningful. But without decision, awareness becomes a holding pattern. You circle the lesson instead of crossing the threshold. We just circle the lesson. We try to figure out the lesson more and more and more and more and more without just crossing the threshold and making the choice of who we desire to be. This is why people can spend years healing, journaling, processing, and still feel stuck. The work becomes sophisticated avoidance. That whole healing journey, it becomes sophisticated avoidance. It's familiar. Understanding becomes a substitute for choosing. Understanding becomes a substitute for choosing. If I just figure it out, then I'll know what to do next. No, you know what to do already. Just the very fact that you know you don't want it means you know that you know what you do want. Okay? You know what you do want. Okay? Beautiful. So here's something from scripture. This is another great quote, right? So James 1:22. James 1:22. Be doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving yourselves. Let me say that one more time. Be doers of the word and not hearers only, deceiving yourselves. Let's read the breakdown, okay? This verse is uncomfortable because it removes your favorite hiding place. You can no longer confuse insight with integrity or understanding with transformation. Hearing feels productive. It gives the nervous system a sense of progress without requiring risk. Staying in comprehension while postponing action is self-deception. It's convenient. You tell yourself you're growing while quietly protecting the version of you that does not want to change. The trigger is this. You're not stuck because you do not know what to do. You are stuck because you have not decided to do it. Every repeated lesson is not asking for deeper awareness. It is asking for courage. Courage to close the loop. Courage to stop revisiting the same truths like options. Until truth becomes embodied, life will keep pressing the same place to expose where you are still pretending that hearing is enough. How pointed was that? A little triggering, huh? How pointed was that? A little triggering, huh? Deception here is subtle. You believe you have moved because you have seen, but seeing is not crossing. Seeing is standing at the edge. Beautiful. Do you, beautifully put, do you still want more of that shit? Do you? Or do you want that new? Right? Do you want that new? All right. So next, decision ends the lesson. So we just talked about the loop. Decision ends the lesson. Okay? And remember, when we are triggered, this is a good thing. This is a beautiful thing. It's just exposing, now I have a choice to do differently, right? So that's the purpose of this. We get triggered. Now we become aware. Why am I triggered? Perfect. Now I can move differently. Now it's a choice. Once I'm aware of it, it's a choice moving forward. Beautiful. Okay? So here we go. Decision ends the lesson. Decision ends the lesson. A lesson ends the moment identity becomes non-negotiable. Decision is not emotional intensity. Right? We often confuse decision with emotional intensity. We think it has to feel a certain type of way, right? So feel a certain type of way. Wrong. Wrong. Decision is not emotional intensity. It's not forcing confidence. It is quiet finality. It is the moment you stop asking what a situation means. Hear this. Please hear this part. Please hear this part. This is a gem right here. It is the moment you stop asking what a situation means and start deciding who you are inside it. It doesn't matter what it means. It does not matter what the situation means. Who are you inside of this situation? The situation means absolutely nothing. Who are you? You can try to figure it out while still the whole time you're taking this meaningless situation. You're saying, because I'm seeing this, I must do something wrong. And you're studying it. The whole time you're studying it, you're just identifying with it. And so you get more and more and more of it. The healing journey guarantees one thing. Being on a journey to heal guarantees one thing. If you're on the journey, you're not at the destination. We can guarantee that. If you're trying to figure it out, that means you ain't figured it out yet. But we can guarantee this. Guarantee it. I'm trying to figure out why I'm in the loop. Well, just that story alone says what? You're in the loop, you can't figure it out, and you're still going to experience more of it. You've created an identity, a personality based on some shit you don't want. I'm offering a new perspective, right? Let's offer a new perspective. I don't care. I don't need to understand it. I just need to decide. And decision breaks the loop. Deciding who I am breaks the loop. You know what? People don't just ghost you anymore. There's nothing new to learn in this situation. I simply choose differently. Boom. It's done. It's done. Beautiful. Okay? So here we go. Mysticism echoes this truth, right? So in Sufi teaching, the repetition of trial is not a sign of failure. Okay, in this mystic teaching, repetition of trial is never a sign of failure. You can't fail. You can't fail. It's never a sign of failure. It's a sign of hesitation. Hear this, okay? The door opens. The door opens when the self stops knocking and walks through. The door opens when the self stops knocking and just walks through. Let's break that down, all right? The lesson has already presented itself. Yet the self remains standing at the threshold, circling meaning instead of crossing into commitment. Think about that. Right? The lesson's already presented itself. You've seen it. You don't want it. The lesson is over. I don't want it. The lesson is done. I know what I want now. Oh, extra points. Decide that. Okay, cool. But we still stay at the threshold. Instead of making a choice, I know I don't want it. So there's the lesson. I know what I do want. There's the next lesson. Okay, and now we're circling meaning. We're circling meaning in this situation instead of just crossing into commitment of who I desire to be now. The trial returns not because the soul is unworthy, but because it has not yet consented to the transformation being asked of it. The image of the door is precise. Knocking is still separation. Knocking assumes permission is required, that something outside must open for you. More insight, more information, right? Something must happen to allow you to walk in. Walking through is a decision. Kick that shit in. Make the decision. Kick that shit in. Walking through is a decision. It's the moment the self stops asking what the lesson means and starts living as if it has already answered. It's the moment. I stuttered through that shit. Let me say that one more time. Okay. It is the moment the self stops asking what the lesson means and starts living as if it has already answered. Practical example. Oh, these men keep ghosting me. This guy shows up and disappears. I get hot and cold. I'm trying to figure out what it means. You've already got the lesson. A situation showed up. You don't like it. So what do you want? I want consistency. I choose that. I am met with consistency. I choose that. But instead of choosing that, what do we do? We take the situation we don't like and we say what? Well, it's hot and cold. What am I doing wrong? What did I do? I'm just confused. How does this work? But I'm feeling anxiety. I'm trying to get rid of that. So you're trying to put all these band-aids on this torn ACL. And it ain't doing shit. The whole time, you're just identifying with this situation and trying to figure shit out. You're studying it. You've become a student of the situation you don't like. instead of what? Just choosing what you do want and letting that go. It's meaningless. There's no more lessons to learn. Okay? There's a practical example. Cool. All right, so here we go. It is the moment the self stops asking what the lesson means and starts living as if it has already answered. In mysticism, the door does not open wider with more understanding. The door does not open wider with more understanding. It opens the moment the seeker realizes they were never locked out, only undecided. Beautiful. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Okay. So how did Jesus put this in Matthew 5:37? This goes to what you were just saying, Issa. Just reaffirm the decision and don't feed the negative feelings. So yeah. Let your yes be yes. It's how simply Jesus put it. Let your yes be yes, meaning let your yes be unconditionally it. Yeah, I'm prosperity. What if I doubt it? It doesn't matter. I'm still prosperity. What if I believe it? Cool, perfect. I'm still prosperity. What if it feels like the body's rejecting it? Another made up story that we say. The body's rejecting it. Doesn't matter. I'm still it. What if the circumstance says otherwise? Doesn't matter. I'm still it. I'm unconditionally it. It's just the truth. And truth does not even require my belief anyway. Truth doesn't care about my doubt, doesn't require my belief, doesn't care about my feelings. If the truth does not change because I'm anxious. The truth does not care about your anxiety. Reaffirm even if the nervous system is screaming. Well, let's think about that. Because I don't want y'all to turn I am into an affirmation course. Okay? It's not an affirmation rallying call. Okay, where here's the thing, okay? Your nervous system is screaming. Cool, that's fine. Okay? Now, let's say that it is screaming. Why would you need to reaffirm over it? What do you think that does? What do you think reaffirming over a nervous system does? Let's be a little honest with each other, guys. What do you think that does? You think that's magic? What does it do? Nervous system needs to learn breath. Hell yeah, it causes an internal war. Does it calm you? Does reaffirming over your nervous system calm you? When you feel nervous, you say, oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm still prosperity. Reaffirming over and over again, that makes y'all feel more calm. I mean, if it does, more power to you. For most people that I've talked to, it doesn't. It just makes it all of a sudden, you get into this loop, right? Where you're trying to scream over the screaming. What a lot of people will realize, I know I did, and a lot of people that I work with, they realize this, is that the nervous system, the anxiety is never the problem. Anxiety was never the problem. Being nervous was never the problem. Being scared was never the problem. Being angry was never the problem, right? It was that I thought that those things kept me from what I want, right? I think that the anxiety is a border between me and God, right? It's a big ass fence of anxiety, an anxiety fence. I'm trying to look over there and see God on the other side. I'm trying to look through that shit. God, you know what I'm saying? But it's not. There's nothing in between you and God. We think the fear is keeping us from God or keeping us from our desires, right? So now it's not even the anxiety that's the problem. I have anxiety of the anxiety. I have fear of the fear. I'm scared of my fear. Oh, please don't let me get scared because it's going to keep me from what I want. So the moment I sense fear, oh shit, I'm terrified. Let me affirm over it. That just leads to suffering. So the first thing that we have to do is ask yourself the honest question. Why do you need to affirm over your anxiety or your fear or your doubt or your nervousness? What do you believe those things are doing? This is the first question. Because I know we immediately want to go to, well, what do I do? 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 Because you're so hooked on getting that thing that you want. The only thing that you can think of is, what do I do to get it? You're so hooked on it. But we've got to take a step back. What do you think? The anxiety and the nervousness, what is the problem with them? Do you believe those things are keeping you from what you want? Keeping you stuck? It's not, though. They're not. It's just part of you being a human. One of the things that a human being has is emotions, right? A human being feels. You're going to be sad when you lose a family member. Are you going to try to affirm over it because you can't get your specific person? Let's think about that, okay? You lose your job. Are you going to affirm over it because you don't think you can get your specific person if you feel a little anxiety? You lose a parent. You lose a close friend. You're affirming over your nervous system so you don't feel a certain type of way. Just so you can get what you want. Exactly, my brother. It's just resistance. Now, when we really think of logical situations like that, we're like, oh yeah, you're right. I guess I'd be sad, right? But what is the true problem? The true problem is never your emotions. It's the meaning that you give to them. You think because you feel anxiety or fear or frustration or doubts or anxiety, these things keep you from what you want, and they don't. And so the moment that you can just accept that truth, the feelings mean nothing. They're just part of my human experience. They're part of the ego. And anything that is involved with the ego or the character of Alex, right? Alex doubts. Alex gets frustrated. Alex talks shit. Alex is a skeptic. Your boy Alex is a skeptic. Alex makes jokes when he's nervous. He does all these things. But guess what? The character of Alex can't create shit anyway. It's just here to have a human experience. Alex's fear and belief and doubt mean nothing. Okay? They mean absolutely nothing. So the quicker that I accept that, all right, the feelings aren't creating. Okay, cool. Now I can just allow them to be what they are without being scared of them. This puts you in a much better position to actually handle them. Because now, instead of you thinking, I have to get through the anxiety or get over the anxiety or the fear just so I can get that little musty, crusty, dusty, snaggletooth ass SP. Just because, right? If you can get away, if you can take that power away from your emotions, if you can stop fiending for them for 3 seconds and just think through this and be logical, now you can actually what? Deal with your emotions in a healthy way. In a healthy way. Okay? Chasing the bag? Okay. Sure. I hear you, Brittany. Chasing the bag. I got you. You're not like the rest of them. You're different. I already know, baby. I already know. All right? Nah, I'm just playing with you. All right, so here we go. Let your yes be yes, right? A yes that keeps explaining itself is not a yes, it is negotiation. A yes that keeps explaining itself. So this is why I wanted to talk about, well, how do I just affirm over my nervous system? A yes that keeps having to explain itself is not a yes, it's a negotiation. You're trying to negotiate with God. You make a decision and your decision is final because you are God. Who do you think you're negotiating with or affirming to? Boom. Here we go. So last but certainly not least, right? Why the ego prefers understanding. Let me see. Yeah, I'm just going to read through this and then we're going to go to the love letter. I got a love letter for y'all, and then we'll do questions. We'll probably do questions for a while. It's Friday night. Why not? Right? Understanding keeps options open. Understanding keeps options open. Decision closes doors. It ends identity flexibility. It removes the excuse to revisit the same inner debates. This is why the ego loves insight, but resists commitment. Insight feels expansive. Decision feels like death. And in a way it is. It is the death of the version of you that needed the lesson to continue. Okay, so 2 Corinthians 6:2, and we've talked about this, right? Now is the day of salvation. Now is the day of salvation. Now is the moment of salvation, right? Not after one more realization, not after one more sign, not after one more synchronicity, not after one more meditation, not after one more affirmation saturation session. Now is when the loop ends. Now, if you decide. If you decide. Now is when the loop ends if you decide. Okay? The lesson is waiting for your permission. Life doesn't ask you to understand more. It asks you to stand somewhere. The moment you stop revisiting the lesson and start living from the decision, the pattern dissolves. Reality shifts because there's nothing left to teach. And the moment decision arrives, the lesson releases you because its work is done. Beautiful way to put it. Okay, so a love letter for y'all. Sit back, right? Sit back, crack you open some wine. Or type up your question and get ready to hit send, right? Because after this, we'll do questions for a little bit. All right, here we go. Beloved, 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 beloved. You have been standing at the door far longer than you needed to, listening, interpreting, wondering if the timing was right, if the signs were clear enough, if you were ready to enter through. You called it patience. You called it discernment. But underneath it all was a quiet hesitation, a hope that the door would open for you so you would not have to choose. I am writing to tell you the truth you have felt in your bones. The door was never locked. It was waiting for your decision to become louder than your doubt. Stop knocking. Stop asking life for permission to be who you already know you are. Decision is not violence. It is devotion. It is love refusing to linger in uncertainty. When you decide, the door doesn't resist. It breaks open because it was never meant to withstand you. Kick it down if you must. Not from anger, but from clarity. From the knowing that waiting has expired and becoming is no longer required. The moment you step through, life rushes to meet you because you finally moved first. Do not linger in the hallway of almost. Do not romanticize hesitation. Choose and let reality reorganize itself around your yes. I am done waiting. I am done circling. I am inside now, right? I am that I am, no matter what. Make that decision. Make that decision. So, of course, this discussion is streamed on YouTube. So you can always go to YouTube. The link is in the bio. You can go over to YouTube and get the discussion. And the document is uploaded, will be uploaded to YouTube as well. Cool. So today was you keep repeating the same lessons, right? And how to break these loops. And so breaking the loops comes down to our awareness, right? Or our decision. Our decision breaks the loop. Can you make the decision that you are already what you desire to be? From that decision, the loop has no choice but to disappear. It is only our awareness that we're in a loop and our awareness that we have something to fix within this loop for it to fade away that keeps us strapped and keeps us stuck. Okay, cool. I am that I am, no matter what. All right, so let's do questions. Whew. I don't think I was live on Instagram that whole time. I wasn't. Damn, are y'all all clapping for me? All these cheeks just clapping everywhere. For me, God damn. Sarah, don't act like you don't be in the club. Sarah ass trying to act like, you know what, y'all nursing. You know what, I ain't finna call you out. Don't act like that. Matter of fact, let everybody in here and your close friends. I want to see your close friends on Instagram. I bet your close friends is wild. When people go distant, it's our responsibility. It's not your responsibility, but choosing what you want to experience after you see something that you don't is your responsibility. Absolutely. Right? So things happen, shit happens. But who are you within that situation? That's your responsibility. They're always inviting you to the club. Okay. Why are they always inviting you to the club, sir? The life of the party. Give Sarah some shots. She gonna turn everybody up. Matter of fact, Sarah, next time I go to Vegas, you finna come with me. you finna come with me, bro. I feel like, Sarah, you know, just go dance in the section. I'm finna go around here and get some women, right? You just attract some people over to the goddamn section. Promoters love you. It's crazy. Decide and stay devoted to them. Yeah. Stay devoted, right? I pledge allegiance to the decision. That's the thing, right? What's my decision to fix my marriage? If that's what you want, if you want to fix it, if you want a new marriage, right, the decision is what you want. So you make that decision and you move forward in that decision. You at the tables, that's cool. You can be at the tables. I'm at the tables with you. I'm everywhere. I said, come get you. I don't think when y'all talk like that, I just know y'all don't know me like that. And do I believe in meditation? Yeah. I meditate. Just on that dance floor. Alexis, you're the youngest one on here. You need 10K? You don't need it. You already have it. How can you need what you already have? One of my SPs said I'm always outside too. Have you accepted that you always outside? You want to know me for real? All right, if you say so. It's cool. I got 5 SP slots opened up. I got 5 SP slots opened up for next month. It goes until, actually for this month. Check my DM. You're not gonna catch me in the DMs. I don't check them. I don't check them. Yeah, it's so different. Oh, I think that was gonna be a good question. If your connection with SP so strong yet so difficult, is it because I'm holding on to that story? Typically, yeah. I would highly advise you, like, talk through that story, right? The trick that I always give is the recording method, right? Pull out the phone, open up the video, and literally just start explaining the situation. Explain your beliefs about it. Just go into depth. Talk to yourself like you would talk to a coach or a therapist, right? And all the answers will be there. Just be honest and dump. Just trauma dump in that video, and then listen to it back, and listen to it back as your higher self, as the version of you that has that loving relationship that is easy. And you're going to see a lot of things stand out, because it's always our story. Our life is our story. Our life is our story.